I'm Michelle McMahon, and also coming up on This Week in the Big Ten, we're in Philadelphia as the Big Ten gets to take home some hardware. And we go to the first team All-American, Taylor Cummings. You were able to dominate the draw control 11-8. How are you able to neutralize UNC with the draws?
First half, I think they beat us in draw controls, and second half, it's all about hustle, it's all about heart.
Back-to-back national champions. Put into words what this feels like for you right now.
This is the best night of my entire life.
Happy New Year's, hockey fans, and welcome into our Chicago studios for another edition of your Big Ten Hockey Report. Michelle McMahon here, joined by Dan the Man, who's fully bearded and all, and back with us today. Dan, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Michelle McMahon, joined by our hockey analyst, Dan Kelly, and Paul Caponegri, a new face standing in for Rick Pizzo. Guys, a couple of statement wins this weekend in the Big Ten, and Dan, Michigan State upsetting Penn State with some tenacious defense this weekend. Coach, you mentioned this season you could finally focus on football this spring season. What's been your biggest impression about this group this offseason?
Well, their competitive nature. They're all hungry to get us back to the postseason.
And through your management, one of the things you stress is players, formation, plays. Yeah. How difficult are these guys making your job to pick the top 22 right now?
Well, offensively, I think we got really good competition.
Coach, you returned nearly everybody and your defensive line, including Sean McEvely from injury, a very deep secondary. What's been your focus this spring with your guys? You've been at this coaching thing at the collegiate level for 44 plus years, and now the defensive coordinating position for 29 plus. What's the biggest challenge and greatest reward about your job?
Oh, I still love it.
The Wolfpack is back. Dan Kelly, Rick Pizzo. Guys, it's finally the end of the Big Ten conference season. Rick, one of the top three teams that you may have not expected to be there is Michigan State, but here they are taking the number 2 seed now. Coach Reese, down 3 at the half to overcome that deficit with a 6-goal run in the second. How are you able to get the job done tonight?
All the credit to these guys. They came out and they fought hard. The second half was awesome.
Coach, your 12th national championship in program history. Give us a sense of your emotions right now.
You can't even.
I'm Michelle McMahon, and we're here in Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series as Michigan looks to claim yet another national title. Mike, thank you. Coach, a winner-go-home scenario with the opportunity to advance to the first ever Big Ten tournament. Can you give us an idea of how you prepared your team for this matchup, both mentally and tactically speaking? The stage is set for the 2015 Women's National Lacrosse Championships here in Philadelphia. Let's see how these teams got here, starting with the highlights from the weekend. Michigan State on Friday night at Munn Arena. A sweep for either team would give them the Big Ten title. Here's a big oopsies for the Wolverines. It went off the stick of Downing, and it would be a Keller goal. We're tied up 3-3, so 5 minutes left into the third. It would be Alex Kyle who drops one back for Andrew Kopp, picks it up, he finds Travis Lynch, who lights the lamp. Michigan takes the lead and wins 5-3 on Friday night. It was an emotional huddle at the end, losing some key seniors. What was your final message to this 2015 team?
Just how much I love them.
You've been a part of this team through the ups and downs. You were a part of that 2012 success, winning the Gator Bowl, but also the last 2 seasons have been filled with some adversity. So what's your approach to this fall season?
Trying to get everybody else more mature.
Sweeping Minnesota wasn't enough. You earned your 800th win as head coach. So I want to take you back to Saturday night in the locker room when your guys were hailing to the victors in your honor. Personalize what that 800th win means to you. I have one last little bit off-the-wall question for you. Your first real name is Gordon, as some may or may not know. And given my hair color, I'm intrigued where the nickname Red actually comes from, Coach.
Well, given my hair color right now, you never know, but I was a redhead.
As I was doing my due diligence, looking through all your accolades, I couldn't help but stumble upon a few images of your infamous mullet from the olden days, a little bit business in the front, party in the back action. So I have to ask you, if any circumstance, would there be any occasion that we would revisit and possibly see the mullet again?
I think that was back in my younger days. I think I had the mullet going because those are my years. I was coaching up in Alaska too, so got a little cold up there, so it was a way to keep my neck warm. That's the excuse I use.
A nice little blanket on the net. Well, you heard it here first. The return of the mullet to be determined. The return of Minnesota dominance. Well, they're well on their way. For head coach Don Lucia, Coach, thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck the rest of the way. The number 1 ranked Terps go head-to-head with the 2 seed in UNC. Although it might appear that Maryland has the upper hand in this battle as the 1 seed and as the 2014 reigning national champions, we would be remiss if we didn't reflect back on that 2013 season where both of these teams met yet again in the national championships. 30 minutes left and you guys advance to the first ever Big Ten tournament. How do you control the tempo here in the second half?
So much lacrosse to be played right now.
Mike, thank you. Coach, you guys are getting the job done in faceoffs right now with the 4-3 advantage over Penn State. What other elements of the game would you like to see step up?
I love how we're playing defense.
Well, you hit on it. You made it interesting there in the second half. What was the turning point in your mind to maintain that momentum?
Well, I thought Michigan was just making.
When you think back to that 2014 spring season, there was a lot of external distraction with the unionization that was petitioned that filed in January of 2014. This season, Pat Fitzgerald was just excited to be able to focus on football with his guys. He said this has been an extremely productive 2015 spring season. That this is a fresh slate for not only him, but also for this team to really step up and step into those places, Dave. As Kathy Reese put it, we're not focused on the past, we're focused on this 2015 national title. Reporting live from PPL Park, I'm Michelle McMahon with BTN.
They call you red. And I looked at them sarcastically and I said, well, because I'm a communist. And very seriously. And they all started writing on their notepads like, boy, it must be true. I never said that again.
That one didn't go over quite well. We have a lot in common, actually, because my nickname used to be Red, but usually it was when I was getting in trouble with my father, who was the main one that called me Red. But